Hi,
Hi,
Pat.
everybody.
Hi, you look nice and green.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Patty.
Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday.
Patty.
Yes, I am excited. The weekend couldn't get here fast enough for me. Let me tell you, I'm looking forward to the 3-day holiday weekend. We'll see what happens. Did everybody catch the AGWA webinar? When did I do that? Monday? Monday.
Monday.
Yes. Sometimes those tips and tricks come in really handy. And even if you've taken one of my classes before, I always introduce new material with the important material.
Just answered the phone. Property management may help you. And they just said, sorry, wrong number, and hung up.
I told you that one's golden. How I figured that out, just so you know, is I was answering the phone at a property management company. Property management, how can I help you? And people would just hang up on me. And I was like, why are these people hanging up on me? It was getting frustrating, right? So I would get so mad. And then I realized they're looking for a mom and pop. They don't want me. Oh, if they're looking for a mom and pop and they don't want me, doesn't it make sense for me to tell all the mom and pops, hey, do this and avoid that? It's funny how sometimes we figure these things out, but it's strange because like Arlene just said, I implement that, and as soon as I say property management, they hang up on me. So depending on what side of the fence you're standing on, use that to your advantage. Because she's right. They hang up on you as soon as you say property management. Why? Because they don't want to deal with a management company. They want to deal with an independent mom and pop because they think they can take advantage of them and they don't know what the rules are. So it's a really, really good way. I highly suggest you guys rewatch that video. I give a lot of tips and tricks. I actually wrote a couple articles about my tips and tricks, but they come in handy. Always write in blue ink. I mean, that's a great one for getting ready for court. You know which documents are yours. So lots of good information in there yesterday. I'm glad you used the property management one on the phone and that works for you, Arlene. I mean, we giggle about it, but it's true how something so simple can be so impactful in your business. Right? I got a feeling we're going to have a slow class today because of something else that's going on. It's at no fault of real estate or property management or anything like that. We've just got something else going on today, which is fine. I'm okay with that. If you didn't hear at the AGLA seminar, they did make an announcement that I will be answering their phones starting next month. So I'm available that way. What did you guys just hear? If you can't get Widget to answer her cell phone, call AGLA. That might be an easy way to get Widget on the days I'm not answering my cell phone. Everybody got that? It looks like I'll be answering their phones on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays for right now. So just figured that out about an hour ago. So hot off the press. You guys know to Google the phone numbers. I'm just going to go briefly over what we talked about yesterday. If somebody has a question, ask it. Google the phone numbers the applicant gives you. Don't let them make payments on the deposit. Take all the money. Make sure they use a holding deposit agreement. You should take the first month's rent in full and the security deposit up front and prorate the second month's rent. When you're doing your move-in inspection, photos are now required at move-out if you want to charge them for anything. So make sure you're getting move-in photos, move-out photos, and after the repair is done. If you're going to do a repair mid-tenancy and bill it back to the tenant, you need to have repair photos of that damage. So make sure you tell the workmen when they get there to take a picture of before and to send you an after photo. That way, if you want to bill it back to the tenant and the disposition of security deposit after they vacate, you have the tools to do that. The new law now requires photographs, okay? So it's very important that we calculate that in there.
Quick question.
Yep.
Okay, so after move out photos, I understand. But what if the repair takes a lot longer? Do I have to wait to charge the tenant for the damages? Because some repairs may take 4, 5, 6 months even, who knows? So what is the situation on that?
The biggest number I could tell you is 21 days, okay? You have 21 days to either do your final disposition of security deposit from the day you receive possession, or, and here's the big or, you can provide them estimates within the 21 days, meaning the work isn't done, it's just an estimate. And then you have until you receive the final invoice, you have 14 days after that to do a final disposition of security deposit to include all of the actual invoices and line item charges and do your final accounting. Okay? So regardless, you have 21 days to either do a final or an estimate. Okay?
Okay, but after I do the report, after 6 months report, let's say it's done, I still have to send that to the tenant?
Within 14 days of you getting the final invoice. So let's say the house is destroyed, it takes forever, and 8 months later, you finally get the final invoice from the contractor. You now have 14 days from the day you got that final invoice, 8 months later, to do the final disposition and include all the invoices.
Okay, so estimate is one thing, final disposition is another.
Bingo. And you can also do a revised disposition of security deposit to allocate for the tenant to get more money back, but you can't do a revised disposition to charge them more money. It doesn't work that way. So if you forget something on the disposition of security deposit, you can't revise it and add more money. But if you accidentally overcharge them for something, a late fee, whatever it is, you can revise the disposition and give them back more money. You can't charge them more money, okay? So 3 kinds of dispositions of security deposit: estimated, final, and revised, okay? You guys hear that thing kids say now, F around and find out, okay? When we're doing a disposition of security deposit, sometimes we put things on there that we don't think a judge would look at in court, and they're kind of questionable, and we're just trying to get away with it. The second they file a lawsuit, I may do a revised disposition of security deposit to remove charges and then submit it. If I'm giving them money back, I can do a revision. Guys paying attention? Okay, just checking.
Not that I want to abuse them, but what happens, for example, what you're telling me, I understand that you can postpone paying them the deposit back even after 8 months because, oh, I see, you're nodding your head. I got you.
If it took 8 months and then you have to give them $700, then you need to write them the check for $700. But it could take 8 months after the disposition of security deposit is completed. They could then owe you $50,000 in damages. I mean, who knows? Right?
Patty,
But-
on that
Go ahead.
same question, does a revision in the eyes of a judge look bad, I guess, is my question? Does it look like, oh, so you revised it? Why did you charge it? You know, what are you
Because
trying to
I felt
backtrack?
that those charges were excessive and the owner agreed to waive them.
And if I am the owner, you know, it's, if we own it, so then you just say,
The owner waived those late fees, Your Honor, and they're no longer in question. We've now credited it to the tenant's ledger.
So it makes sense to give it higher estimate and then lower it as needed. Got it.
Estimate high, okay? Because if we need to add something in there, then we have the capability of doing it on an estimate. Once that final's out, the only thing you can do to a final disposition is revise it for less money. Okay? Everybody got that?
Thank you.
No problem. It's a very it's like dancing, okay? You got to figure out how to do the waltz. It's just part of the process and the procedure and the way you do things, okay? If you can't get it done in 21 days, you know you're going to do an estimate high. Why? Because we can always add that water bill we forgot about, or the this bill, or the that bill, or as long as we don't, it's estimated. It could be more than that. It could be less than that. We don't know. It's an estimate, right? So once you get that all done, where it starts to really affect you is when you do the final. Because the only thing you can do after you do a final disposition of security deposit to make changes is revise it for less money owed to you. Okay, everybody got that? All right, I'm going to keep going with a couple more tips and tricks. If you guys have questions, holler at me because let's get into this.
I have a slight interpretation difference with you on that.
Of course you do.
I think it's all, I would definitely say like estimate high,
Yeah.
especially if you know you're not gonna be able to do the work and within the 21, well, estimate high but I don't know that you could necessarily, it's a little bit of risks to include things you didn't put on the temporary, on the initial.
Exactly. It is a risk if you didn't add a
I
water
would
bill.
try and not forget any water bills, or I would put more things on there. There are things from a business perspective. There are also things you can negotiate away. So, even typically, unless you're renting like a luxury house, the security deposit you're talking about is going to be under the small claims court limit. So chances are they'd be taking, if they are going to go after you, they'd be taking it in small claims court.
Small claims court limit is currently $12,500.
But whatever it is, I mean, it's always.
I'm just giving you the facts, Chris.
Right, but I mean, I told you I like look it up each time but the point is it's highly unlikely, especially with our limits on security deposits now, that you're going to exceed the small claims court amount. If that's the only issue, they might like bootstrap it to a bunch of other stuff if they're suing you, I guess. Because theoretically they could still try and sue you for habitability and harassment. Right?
Exactly. And one of my other habitability claims that we see a lot, especially with us little mom and pops, is we tend to move tenants in before the house is rent ready. Sometimes they see it, they're a workman, they're going to help us get everything rent ready for them.
Well, we never do that, Patty. We've never done that. Wink, wink. No.
Sometimes they're going to move in and we're going to collect less of a security deposit because they're going to do the final painting and some of the work at the property. Sometimes that happens. I'm letting you know right now, 9 times out of 10, 99.9 times out of 100, it is a bad idea and it doesn't work. Why? Because let's say, oh yeah, he's a licensed contractor, he's a handyman, I've worked with him for years. You move him in there, maybe he's getting a discounted rent. Maybe whatever the deal is you have with him. Only he comes home from work all day and he's too exhausted to work on his own house and he's not really getting paid for it. It's just like a rent credit. So he doesn't push the issue or they don't repair it properly. Yeah. Regardless, at the end of the day, it's still a habitability issue more than likely. And from the time they moved in to the time that you find out none of the work was done, they technically and legally might not owe the rent.
But I'm also just saying that typically, if that's the only issue and they're not super litigious like pain, that hopefully you screened out by asking them by answering the phone property manager is that,
I love it.
is that
All
they
I'm saying is you guys don't rent your properties unless they're rent ready. That's my rule.
yeah, I agree with that. Having recently, I mean,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
you,
it'll be fine until they move in and then it ain't fine anymore. They want it fixed yesterday.
I heard the advice, but the let's just say the owners wouldn't take it.
Hey, I get it. I get it. Sometimes our hands are tied. And in all fairness, Chris, it's exactly that way because you have an owner that's making the ultimate decision. So you're exactly correct. Sometimes we as property managers don't have that control.
But no, the only thing I was going to remind people again is small claims court, they have to write you a demand letter first. So it gives you an opportunity to negotiate. Um,
And it might be a good time to do a revision on your final disposition of security deposit because your next step is court.
right. And then also the other thing is that like just like any person, because you helped me with one once, it's good to set expectations low or 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 really high on the interim, say they broke a lease, because you have a duty to mitigate, you have a duty to re-rent. You can't immediately turn around and sue them for the duration of the lease or anything. So it's
Yep.
sometimes
You have a
great.
fiduciary duty to re-rent the property as quickly as possible, including lowering the monthly rent on a weekly basis.
Well, it's also just a like common law contract law, that you always have a duty to mitigate in a lease situation. But I was gonna say that squirrel.
We were talking about damages and people moving in and suing.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe
Oh, I
I'll
know
do
what I was
that.
gonna say. Just that, like, it's an expectations game too. If you tell
Yes.
someone like you owe me, like on the interim, like I'm estimating $15,000 of lost rent, but we're trying to rent it right now. It's not. This is just an interim. It's not likely to be that. Finally, then when you send them one and says, "Well, we just wiped out your whole security deposit for a month of lost rent," then they don't really, the expectation game goes from, "Oh my God, I'm going to be liable for this huge amount," to, "Oh, I don't owe no, I don't know anything." Whereas I think if you'd done right off the bat, you with some people, if you're like, "Oh, well, I can't give you any of your security deposit back because you broke the lease," they're going to be like combative. So it's good to like set low expectations and exceed them, and it's good to set like high expect as far as a high estimate, like expectations of you're not getting your security deposit back. And then if they do get like a small amount, they'll be happy, or they're more likely to be happy. That's all I'd say.
You're right. Less likely to have litigation. How's that?
Yeah, that works.
So again, you guys, yesterday's class was just on tips and tricks for the industry, how we can fast track some things. I highly suggest and strongly recommend that you go rewatch it. You may learn something. And
Monday, it was Monday, I think, wasn't it?
yeah, it was Monday.
Yesterday was Tuesday, just in case.
Today's Wednesday. I was also going to let you guys know we have the golf tournament coming up. If you sign up and use the code widget, you will save $50. Come play golf with me. It's a good fun day. I don't really golf, but it's a lot of fun harassing the other golfers because I tend to do that. And you drive around and get to meet all the vendors that are there. It's for a good cause. Proceeds go to the PAC. And as Chris will tell you, that is detrimental to our industry. It's how we fight all these rules, regulations, bureaucracy, and BS. Okay. But that's going on in October. I encourage you, if you're available that day, come hang out with me. It'll be a fun afternoon. I think we're doing a shotgun start like at 1 o'clock and we start at noon with lunch. So would love to see you if you're available. Come out and play golf with me. We'll have fun harassing the other golfers because I don't golf either. And then starting the 8th of September, the 9th of September, I will be in Agla's office. So if you guys need me, You can call Agla during those hours. You can always text me and I'll try to text you back, but know that I should probably be busy. It is a lot of remote working. So I'm excited about that because I get to work from anywhere. All right. Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Any questions that have arisen that you need answers to?
I have a question.
Okay. What you got?
It's I'm still a little confused, and maybe you guys can all help me. With the new or the extended price gouging mandate or law, I don't know what you call it. I'm in DCBA. My unit's vacant. I'm getting it ready to rent again. What can I charge for rent? I listened to Niv's session a week or two ago, and he said if you make a lease for just a little longer than 12 months, there's a way to avoid that. So I just need clarity. That's all. What can I charge? Can I charge market? Can I charge above market? And I'm in DCBA.
Okay. I'm going to talk to you out loud. So pay attention.
Okay.
I highly suggest and strongly recommend that you don't start over market value. Okay. We're
Okay.
having a hard time right now renting our vacants. Supply and demand is not the issue everybody is talking about. Everybody's saying there's a housing crisis and we need to build new construction, blah, blah, blah. No, we have a 10 to 15% vacancy rate right now. Right
Okay.
now in corporate America. So we're finding that our vacant units are sitting on the market longer. We're
Okay.
having to lower rates and offer different types of incentives to get them rented. In some areas, we're even offering 2 months rent free on a 1-year contract to get it rented. So, yes. So with that being said, I wouldn't worry about coming in over market value. Okay. Take a deep breath and hear what I'm saying there.
Okay.
As far as bringing it up to market value, I'd be cautious. Can you warrant repairs and expenses that you had to warrant that increase?
Yes.
Then I would be asking an attorney if they're willing to argue that you have all these $40,000 in repairs and now you're asking for market rent. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If they're willing to argue that for you, then I'd go ahead with the increase. In other words, what I'm telling you is this whole price gouging thing doesn't really have any case law yet. And you don't want to be the one to find out with case law. It also affects a victim. So if the person wasn't a victim of the LA fires, then the state of emergency doesn't apply to them because they weren't a victim.
Right.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to say very carefully, if it were me, I would list it at just under market value to try to attract attention to it right away, and get it rented as quickly as possible because, Arlene, I know you're in here. You can speak up anytime you want to.
Yeah.
We're having trouble renting vacant units in high dollar areas. We are. Arlene, how long has your unit been vacant?
30 days.
30 days.
Yeah, but I was marketing it for 2 weeks before they
I got you.
I lowered the rents.
What's your rent? What are you charging for rent for, and what type of unit?
I have a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhouse
Okay.
in Beverly Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And
Beautiful.
and they're getting, for a 2-bedroom in a new building, with concierge and everything, they're getting $8,800 a month.
Okay.
I started out at $4,300. I'm down to $3,995.
Okay. And I have a multi-unit. I'm in Ladera Heights, and I have a triplex. I live in one and rent out 2, and this is the upstairs unit. My tenant prior was only paying $22.88, way below $20 to $26.25. And I'm upgrading. I'm thinking about putting in AC and some other things. So I'm really thinking I can get close to 3,000 for it. But
Oh, I would think so.
yeah, so that's why I mean.
I mean, if you have, there's
And
no
it's an old-
vacancy, there's
it's an
no
old
vacancy decontrol, so you can put whatever you want. I mean, you can ask whatever you want.
Right,
Because that 10% is only a rent increase. You're not doing a rent increase, you're doing a new rent. So you
right,
can charge whatever you
I
want.
think her concern was the state of emergency, and I don't
Right.
think that was extended, was it?
It was.
It was.
Was.
till August 31st or September now, I can't.
No, it's till October 1st, and now they're talking about January too.
But does that apply to me with a vacant unit where
No.
it moved out?
Only if the person that rents it was a victim of the state of emergency.
But they would have to disclose that, right? Wouldn't
Yes.
they tell me that?
And once they tell you that they're a victim of the state of emergency, I'd immediately lower their rent just to avoid a problem.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. I want to help my fellow
Mhm.
American,
What I-
whatever.
What I did was I put in my criteria that the $50 application fee or whatever it was, $40 is waived if you're a victim of the fires.
Okay. Mhm.
So it's another way to entice people. If
Right.
everybody's rent's listed at $1,700, you want to be listed at $1,650.
Right. Right.
Okay.
There
So
was-
just me trying to help you. It doesn't mean you got to be listed at 1,600.
Right.
I don't want you to go to 1,500. Start small, because all we got to do is get bait out there and put them on our hook. There's
Right.
other things we can waive. Example, credit screening fee. Arlene just gave us that one. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
We can waive credit screening fees. We can waive for the first 6 months, no parking fee. Okay. So what I just did is I said no parking fee for first 6 months. I gave away the parking. Who
Right.
cares?
Right.
The house rented.
Right.
What's residual income? But then on the 7th month, guess what? They owe for parking.
Right.
Oh, ding. So
Right.
give away the things that we can get away with giving away. What we're going to start seeing is lower dollar amount moves you in. I just had a huge meeting with corporate America day before yesterday, and that is what we are now going to do is they're going to start attacking those security deposits. Remember when you'd see the signs that said $500 moves you in on approved credit? Corporate America is now going back to that. They're trying to give away everything they can. 3 months free storage fees.
Mhm.
Meaning on the 4th month, storage fees are due.
Right.
Makes sense? They're
Mhm.
trying to give away everything they can without lowering that base rent amount. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to see those base rent amounts getting lowered. We're seeing it in high dollar areas. We're
Mhm.
seeing it in areas with heavy vacancy rates. And we
Mhm.
need to do something about that so that we're not sitting on a vacant property. It costs us a lot of money to sit vacant.
Right. And the good thing about this area, it's mostly triplexes. There's no real high-rise buildings, no luxury buildings that are in the area. It's a neighborhood. 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath with the 2-car garage. And I think what a unit just rented for $3,400, and there's one vacant down the street for $3,600. That's very comparable. So I don't know. I'm thinking if I can charge $3,000, $3,200, would that be fine since it's a vacant unit? That's all.
$3,195.
$3,195. Okay. And then my other question, outside of a stove and refrigerator, there's no dishwasher, but would you include a washer dryer? There's an area hookup for washer dryer, but I don't want to provide those appliances if I don't have to.
Yeah, I second that. I'm happy.
Okay.
So let me talk to you guys out loud, okay?
Okay.
I always provide a stove,
Okay.
okay? But I don't provide anything else. Why do I provide the stove? And a microwave if it's built in, a dishwasher if it's built in,
Mhm.
a garbage disposal if it's built in. But I always provide the oven stove. Why? Because the oven stove is a habitability issue. And if their oven stove isn't working, they may not owe rent. Oh, but it's their oven stove, right? But they still need to be able to cook.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
now do you have to fix their oven stove? Chris is gonna say, no, that's a bigger argument, but it's a habitability issue. So I want to be in control of things that are going to cost me not being able to charge the rent. I want to be in control of that argument in general. So
Mhm.
I always provide an oven stove combo. The reality of that situation is, quite frankly, I don't want the tenant attaching gas appliances. I just don't. Okay.
Right.
It's a liability issue. When
Right.
the dryer comes, they usually either hook that up or they call the gas company to make sure that it's hooked up properly. Most
Right.
tenants do that. With that said, I don't want to provide any other appliance than what I have to.
Right.
Because if I have to fix it, replace it, it gets
Right.
expensive. Washing machines that the tenants don't own usually get the heavy work clothes, the
Yeah.
shoes, the this, and they just beat the life cycle off of the appliance because it's not theirs. I get it,
Right.
but I don't provide them for that reason.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I provide it and it's not working, they may be owed a rent credit. And quite
Right.
frankly, I don't want to play that game.
Right. So not even so no to a washer and dryer, but what about a refrigerator? No?
Most tenants have their own.
Okay.
On a related note, we've discovered over the years, like if tenants leave something, unless it's like physically attached and going to do damage, we take it out of there because anything you leave there, tenants assume you're going to fix and be responsible for.
Mhm.
There is specific language that you can put in the lease. Like, let me give you an example. There's a washer dryer on the property left by the previous tenant. You
Mhm.
can put language in the lease that says the washer dryer is there for the tenant to use as a courtesy. The landlord will not maintain or replace it in the event it's not
No,
working.
I mean, I know you can always carve stuff out, but it's a little bit
Right.
harder to show a place and be like, oh, well, these are.
It's better to get rid of the old appliance and the old
Mhm.
things so that it doesn't create you a problem. Because even if you do put it there for them to use, let me show you where else it hurts you. Okay. Now the tenant says the washer and dryer went out and I know you're not going to maintain them because the lease says so. So I'm buying my own. But now I need you to come pay to haul these away because I don't need them anymore.
Mhm. Right.
So you end up with it at one frame or another. You could just gotta pick and choose your battles, okay? But Chris is right. If the previous tenant left something there, you don't know the condition of it. You don't know how long it's been in use. You don't know where they got it from. It could work for 3 days and die. I mean,
Yeah.
anything could happen. So
Yeah.
sometimes those aren't the best things. Sometimes those are the greatest things ever. You just never know. So what I put in there specific language of this item is left as a courtesy for you to use. The owner won't maintain nor replace it, nor pay to have it hauled
No,
off.
all the way. Yeah.
Be something else that we add in there.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've just been going back and forth looking at comps. And most places have a stove and a refrigerator, and then there's some that say washer and dryer hookups are available, or some even say if the tenant requests, right, washer and dryer. But I just don't feel I should supply a washer and dryer.
I would use washer dryer hookups, and if they're gas or electric, I would define that. That way
Mhm.
the incoming tenant is aware.
Mhm.
And I don't provide them. I just don't.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just one more thing you have to coordinate the repair of.
I know.
and notice the tenant. And if it's one more thing to fight with the tenant over, it's much better based on my recent experience, it's just much for your own sanity. It's just much better to have the tenant.
It puts you in a better position, less liability, less responsibility, less likelihood of having to give habitability credit on the rent, blah, 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 blah.
Patty, also, you can charge against the security deposit of the previous owner hauling away of the appliance.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Charge the old tenant to haul away the junk they left behind.
Okay, and then my next question, just some clarity again. I posted the tenants' rights form on the building. they each had received a copy back at the beginning of the year. Is there something else I have to provide now for right to counsel under DCBA?
Chris's right to counsel under DCBA or just under LARSO?
I mean, I only know about Larso because I don't have any DBCA. I'm not, I don't know. I mean, that's a good
Here's what I
question.
could tell you. DCBA is in the same building as LARSO.
Yeah.
They are one and the same of the licking the same spoon out of the devil's cauldron. Okay.
So if it's not there, it will be there. Is what you
Bingo.
Okay.
Bingo.
Is there a way I can find
Yeah,
that?
go look on the DCBA's website. They'll tell you what documentation needs to be provided.
Actually, you know who might, Dennis Block might have, he tends to have those kinds of things on his forums to get people to his site.
Okay.
I think what his website is. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like 123 evict.
Evict123.com.
Okay.
Yep. I
That's
know. Okay.
That's where I would check.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a lot of documentation on there as well.
Great. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody have anything else?
You need it, Patty, on DCBA.
I need it.
The
Okay.
right to counsel.
Okay, right to counsel. Let's
If it-
just call
if
it
it-
all of LA County at this point. Because if LAHD is, hold on, I misspoke.
Mhm.
If LARSO is requiring it and DCBA is requiring it, because they are one and the same at the end of the day, just so everybody understands, that's who's running the unincorporated areas of the county is the same crackheads that run the city, okay?
Mhm.
But it's a different form.
It is a different form for their
Yeah.
right to counsel. Do they have
Yeah.
it on their website?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So I can print that off and then just give it to my current tenant that's in there, or do I need to post it?
I do both.
Okay.
So I always tape it on the building, take a picture, and then I go serve it to the tenant. That way I have a proof of service and a photo of it posted in the common area.
Okay. Okay. I will do that. I'll do that just today.
Okay, and then I'm gonna say something for everybody that's in here, okay? On the right to counsel notice, we have one specific fee for LARSO, we have one specifically for DCBA. I'd check and see if you have anything else in LA County. You would find that under LAHD. If they're also providing the mandatory right to counsel form, that's who's gonna have the third one, okay? LARSO, LA,
Oh, do you also have to provide them with a registration statement like you do in LA City? Because in LA City for both just cause and rent stabilization, you're now supposed to both provide to the
you
tenant.
need to provide it with the DCBA as well.
Provide what? What's that? I'm sorry. Provide
You know
what?
your permit, your certification that you get from the DCBA?
I just register online. I don't think they've ever given me a certification. I just register my units, but I've never
Go
seen
look online, you can probably print it out.
printed. And we're supposed to give that to the tenant as well?
Yep, because I can tell you guys what's gonna happen. In LARSO, if you serve your tenant a notice, and let's say you're evicting, sorry, somebody's trying to call me. Let's make them all go away. There we go, I got you guys back, I think. There you are. Okay. If you want to serve your tenant a 3-day notice for non-payment of rent in LARSO, you have to serve them a copy of your registration certificate with it. The reason being is it tells opposing counsel if you didn't do that, that you're not registered. Now you need to go back to the city and register your property before you can file the lawsuit, and you got to pay all those back dues. Okay?
It also
Same
kind
thing.
of cures failure to have not done it, believe it or not. That
Say that
was-
again.
was suggested to me by this attorney I know that serving it kind of cures failure to have provided it earlier.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not best practice.
All I'm saying is listen to the attorney that's going to stand next to you in the courtroom and do what they say. Don't listen to what this person said, that person said, this person said, that person said. Come up with your own analogy, file a case with that attorney, and then go, but I did what that attorney said, not what this attorney said. You need to listen to the attorney that's going to be standing next to you and defending you in the
Right.
courtroom.
There's not going to be a reason not to serve it with your notice, regardless of whether you did before or not. Hopefully,
I gotcha. I'm just trying to keep you
hopefully
out
you did
of
before. Hopefully you posted and gave it to the tenants before.
and took a picture.
My other, I mean, I put it in an addendum that, acknowledge receipt and posting, because it's a little hard to argue that it wasn't if you signed a statement to the, especially if they're attached right there.
Well, you can't collect rent unless you registered.
No. I have registered. I'm talking about an addendum that specifically states that they've, acknowledge receipt and posting of all the documents you have to give them. I think I have to give them, let's see, how many in RSO for LA?
I want to say it's 7.
Well, I don't think it's, I'm just talking about specific to the city.
Oh, I got you.
Registration statement,
So
notice
what
of
Chris
tenant
is saying,
protections.
hold on, Chris, I'm going to help you, okay? What Chris is saying is he has one addendum that the tenant signs that lists all the different right to counsel,
Doesn't just list,
LARSO.
it lists them, but it also, they're attached right after, and I paginate each page, so it's very clear, like following along, like, oh, they're all part of the lease. So if I attach the lease all together, someone will see, oh yeah, no, it was all given to the tenant. Like you can't complain, you can't really raise an issue about it.
So basically what Chris does, simply said, is he lists all of the required documents from LARSO, attaches them to that addendum, and has the tenant sign it at inception with them all attached. That way it's all right there in a lease packet, and that's how he attacks it. And then he only needs to do the updates when they issue a new one.
And I would still, it doesn't mean you don't post, but
Right. Well, this tenant has been in my property for 12 years now. So, how do I just go back and say, okay, here's some paper, here's some right to counsel, here's some information you should have.
what I would do is write a letter and say, it's recently come to my attention, or, based on, you don't have to tell the truth in a letter.
Here, I'm going to give it.
Recently come to my attention that I'm supposed to provide you with the following, and then you provide them all in a letter, list them.
I got verbiage.
Okay.
After review of your file, it was brought to my attention that you're missing certain addendums with the laws changing. So I've included a packet of all the new addendums that we're going to be adding to your contract, because we're doing this with a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy, and including lead-based paint and all the other stuff that isn't in the original contract with this now new packet we're sending them.
Yeah, but you can't force, you can't really force their signature, but you can demonstrate proof that you sent them a letter and with all the things.
Right.
Proof of service. We can't make them sign, but we can do a proof of service.
Yeah, you can keep a copy of what you sent them, and that with your testimony and a proof of service is pretty, hard to refute.
Yeah.
On my new leases, I do an index on the first page, and it lists every single piece of paper that goes into that lease, and they sign the end of that, and they initial every page of the lease and all of the notices.
And she's talking about all 128 pages, folks.
Yep. Yeah, I tell them in advance, plan on at least an hour to sign the lease.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I joke with my tenants and say, bring more than one pen with you. We might need it.
Okay. Okay.
So,
I'll use that language. I'll draft something, Patty, and run it by you. Just like after review of your file, it's come to my attention that I'm required to provide you with XYZ, and just provide that.
Right. The laws change.
The laws change. Right.
Lead-based paint, bed bugs.
Right.
These are mold. There's a new
Mold.
mold disclosure. So there's all these things that change, that it just makes sense for you to approach it in that manner.
Right. Okay. And I can find all of that on DCBA, like what I'm required to give them, like the tenant's rights and the right to counsel so far.
Theoretically,
Okay.
Yes, but
Yeah.
they're
Here.
not gonna give you the mandated disclosures regarding lead-based paint,
Right.
asbestos,
Right.
bed bugs. They're not gonna give you those mandated disclosures.
I also say theoretically because like personally, I find the LA City housing site very difficult to find. Like,
Right.
if I have the exact specific language I'm looking for, I
Right.
don't find things. Even sometimes I'll like take the actual document and search for what's like listed at the top, and you don't find it. It gives you like 50 different results, and you're searching through it instead of just finding it. It's
Yes, and for LARSO, I'm starting to keep those mandatory documents on my website, just so everybody knows they're under tools. I'll check the DCBA and see what the requirements are, but the reality is we need to look at each address and see what governs each address, because it was like a shotgun blast went off. It hits this block, but not that one.
Mhm.
It affects this neighborhood, but not the one right behind it. So you really need to know address by address.
well, right. And there are other incorporated cities in LA County too, right? That would
144 unincorporated cities within the county that are now governed by DCBA.
what about like Beverly Hills and Santa Monica? Don't they have their own forms?
They have their own bureaucracy and
Right. So
bullshit.
you have to go find out exactly what each one's going to require you to give, right?
Exactly. But all I'm saying is there's other requirements that we have other than the city that we need to be sure that we're including in these packets. Like we have to notify them about bed bugs. We have to notify them about lead-based paint.
Right. And the
We have to
EPA
notify them about mold. We have to notify them about asbestos. Those documents I'm talking about are mandated, meaning they are required by law for you to have those disclosures with the given to the tenant. So it's easy for you if you have to implement the city and they've been there for 12 years and now you're telling them all this stuff. It's easy to throw all those other changes in there too.
Right.
So it's not just the city,
Right,
it's
but
all
I
the property.
try and do them on a, when the lease renews.
Right. Right. Yeah. Her lease is due on, I'm going to, raise rents November 1st. So I'll give them a 30-day notice. So maybe I'll get it out soon and just attach everything I need to attach after review of your file. It's brought to my attention that you need. Yeah.
Sydney, make sure you give 35 days if you're mailing.
Okay. Yeah.
No, Patty's rules 45 days.
45
The only
days.
thing that I really don't like though about like the RSO and the JCO in City of LA is it says like no landlord may accept rent without like registering, providing this or posting and whatever to the tenant. So you may be giving, hopefully your tenants are good people and you're not giving them ideas of, oh wait, you didn't give this to me for 2 months. I'm not paying rent for those 2 months or something,
You didn't turn on the light before I went to the bathroom, so.
But wouldn't that be grandfathered in if somebody's been here and I've been collecting rents for 13 years?
Can I say something?
What?
Okay,
Yes.
and just hear me.
Yes.
Hear me out, okay? I had a case, not me, where they dissolved the corporation and the corporation was where the title was held.
Okay.
There was a death, blah, 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 blah. So this guy's going through an eviction, trying to evict these people out of his dad's property where the corporation is holding title instead of an individual, and they dissolved the corporation.
Right.
Opposing counsel found out that the corporation was dissolved, therefore said that they couldn't legally do an eviction. So we asked for a continuance, and the attorney told him to go back to the state of California, pay all those back years to have the corporation set up in taxes and reactivate it.
Wow.
So he did that. It cost him about $11,000. No joke, that he had to pay to reactivate that. When he showed back up in court next week, opposing counsel was like, but it wasn't that way when he served the notice. And the attorney argued, We're here on a current event case, not a history course. It is currently today registered
Right,
and
right,
legal.
right.
We're not here on history class. We're here on current events. So I'm just giving you an example of
Mhm.
how that attorney argued it. And they won.
Yeah. Well, my,
All you can really do is try and be compliant going forward and hope for the best.
Exactly.
And the longer you're compliant going forward, like hopefully, you know, you at least have statutes of limitation to argue about.
Yeah,
right. Okay, thank you.
no problem. Anybody else have anything? I know we're probably up on the hour. Oh, we are coming up close, and I just want to make sure we get everybody. Let me open the chat really quick because I know Val typed something I saw come through. Provide a few appliance rental companies to your applicants. I always do that. Places that rent appliances, let them know about that. It helps take the pressure off of you. Is there a resource to get an old vet a new shower? He cannot get in. We tried you're scaring the crap out of me. We tried the Kern County vet office and they said if he did this, they would take the funds out of the vet's social security. No, that doesn't sound correct. So we dropped it, seeking other resources before we just replace the tub with a walk-in shower ourselves. He's a big guy and don't know, get disability or if he's injured. There's all kinds of things he can reach out to. I saw you try to get in, Christina. Where'd you go? I lost her. She's gonna kick me because now I can't get her in here. I had a squirrel. Hang on. There's Christina. Now I got her in here. Okay. Let me read that again, Val, because the squirrel. Try resources in a different aspect, like ask that vet next time he goes to the Veterans Hospital to ask for assistance there. I know the Wounded Warrior I can speak, I promise. The Wounded Warrior Project is also somewhere else that you could reach out to get assistance for that veteran in that area. But believe it or not, the VA hospital has so many resources for them to get assistance, grants, all kinds of things. He needs to give you a request for reasonable accommodations to make a modification, and then you just need to allow him to do it at his expense. Okay? You don't have to do it at your expense, at his expense. I get that he's a vet and he needs that, but there's a lot of programs out there that will help with that. I would try the Wounded Warrior Project. I would also try for him to reach out at the Veterans Hospital because a lot of resources come from that area. Okay, I hope that helps. I had a mold report done for a lazy tenant. If a report comes back surface moored, her fault, can I charge her for the report? I also told her it just needed to be washed, but she said she might be sick. Surface mold would be cleanliness. So I'll look, Val. I'll look. Thank you. Here's what I would do if it were me, okay? Depending on what city it's in, because I don't know, Linda. I would serve them a 3-day curable breach of covenant for cleanliness, and I would serve her for monetary damages for the testing for the mold. So I'd serve 2 3-days, one for her to clean up the mold because she didn't clean her house. She's in violation of her written contract. And the second one, I would serve her for monetary for the testing.
Okay, that sounds great because I'm so annoyed. All
What
she needed
city
to
is
do
it
is
in?
Bellflower, which is an incorporated city in LA County. I don't know what jurisdiction.
I already know. I got a lot of them memorized, believe it or not.
Oh, good.
Hey, I'm the one that could tell you there's 144 unincorporated cities within the county. I almost had that list memorized, almost.
Oh
I
my
can see
gosh.
parts of it in my head. It's crazy. Let me just go backwards. Are you subject to AB 1482?
Yes.
So it's a multifamily dwelling.
It's one property with a duplex, and a big house.
Okay, so I would go ahead and bill that expense back to them by serving them a cure or quit, 2 of them, one for monetary damages. Bellflower doesn't have a 30-day. Is it tenant on Section 8?
No.
Okay,
Ye-
so I do a 3-day cure or quit for the cleanliness and then a 3-day cure or quit for the money for the testing.
Oh, I love you forever. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, Val, I found your other one. Just rented a house today. It was on the market 2 months. Longest wait for us. Hold on a second, okay? You guys pay attention. Val's properties are in Kern County. Okay? Most of her stuff's out in like Bakersfield area, stuff like that. Okay? She's having trouble renting her vacants too. So it's not just in the hustle and the bustle of the city that we're seeing the slowdown. It's across the board in every county. Okay. Finally, after several price drops, we found the right tenants. Ended up being our roofer's daughter. So excellent match. Now, we did have dozens of weirdos apply, so I just suggest not to get too desperate, which I was starting to itch. So what Val's telling you is hang in there. Chris said I had plenty of weirdos in March. I think maybe they just wanted to see the property hoping to buy in the future. The reality is, you guys, we're gonna get we're always gonna get those people. Now, Val gave us a great point right here. It's his roofer's daughter. So word of mouth works wonders, but also in your own community. If you can put up flyers for your property at the senior center, at the hospital, I'm giving you examples, at the local college or the schools. Because a lot of people want their families to be in their neighborhoods with them, like Val's describing. But Patti, how do we do that? How do we advertise? How do we get that word of mouth out there? There's a lot of places that have bulletin boards when you think about that area. Okay. Maybe at the local churches, maybe at the here, I'm going to give you guys an example and you'll see what I mean. Okay. My niece has a house for sale near Bishop, out there near Mammoth, near, okay? Near Mammoth, near Bishop, okay? She's about 6 miles out of town of Bishop. There's a lot of people that love to go skiing up there, hiking, backpacking, you name it. I am now driving up there this weekend, but on my route, I am stopping at every gas station and putting up the flyer for her house. Why? Because all of us have to go that route to get there, and who knows which bathroom we're going to stop at. But what I'm trying to do is advertise in places that make sense. I'm also going to put a flyer up at the airport. Why? Because they actually offer air service into Bishop Airport now. Oh, Delta Airlines does it, just so everybody knows. That's the carrier that flies into Bishop. But if I can hit people that are traveling to that area, utilizing that area, why not make them closer to home? Why not give them a second house out there, right? It makes sense. So what I'm trying to say is if you're trying to get somebody that works for the school district because you're near the school district or the bus station for the schools, then you want to go in there and ask them if they have a bulletin board that you could advertise your house for rent. Does this make sense? Is this clicking? So some of the big warehouses, even an Amazon warehouse, you can walk in there and say, hi, can I speak to human resources, please? Make sense? Now you're in the human resources department. You're asking them if they have a bulletin board to put up for rentals. You can do that at hospitals, warehouses.
What do you put in your ads that would incite them or more to come to you?
To entice them, it depends on what you're doing. You could advertise free parking, free credit screening. In a perfect world, the security deposit belongs to the tenant. So lower the deposit on approved credit. Okay? OAC, we see the car dealers do it. We can do it too. OAC. Then we ask for a higher FICO score. And then if they don't have that higher FICO score, we say, we can still rent to you, but you don't qualify for that $100 security deposit. If you'd like to rent from us, we can still do that, but the security deposit would be blank. First, you have to deny them on the terms they applied before you offer them new terms. Okay, make sure you guys are doing that. We don't want to be guilty of bait and switch, but we have all kinds of things that we can do to entice people to move into a property. We can offer free credit screening if you're an Amazon employee because you're putting your flyer in Amazon's warehouse. It just makes sense, right? So different things that you can do to cater to different areas within your community. Let me give you another example. I had a friend that lived near LAX. We'll walk into LAX and ask to speak to human resources. Notify all those employees that you have a rental in their area, okay? Not only that, but you could go into Raytheon and ask for human resources. You could do the same thing at Northrop Grumman. Same thing at Virgin. You get what I'm saying? You can go into these places and ask to speak to human resources. Once you get to human resources, ask them if they have a bulletin board that you could put up a flyer of your house for rent because you'd like to help their employees find housing. A lot of times these places get employees coming in from different areas and they need to find them housing. So you are filling the gap, and human resources is grateful to have the information. I hope this makes sense.
Patty, I heard that it's not a good idea to put the 4 universities because these kids party a lot and do a lot of other things.
Hold on a second. Did you hear me mention a university at all? No, you didn't. Why? Because universities usually have younger children that don't have established credit. And then their parent says, I'll co-sign for them. Well, that works out great if their co-signer resides within the state. We can't cross state lines to go after money for debt collection. We can't. So if their co-signer is in another state or another country, it's garbage. It's garbage. It doesn't help us at all. It may make them make the monthly payment, but when it comes to damage collections, we can't touch them. So maybe that does work for you. Risk versus reward. You just have to make the decision. But keep that in mind. If you have a co-signer, they have to reside within the state. If they're outside of the state, debt collection can't cross state lines.
Hey, Patty, it's Christina.
Hi.
When you're talking about universities, one tip I could give is you could still reach out to their HR and go after professors or people, their staff.
Teachers, educators,
Yes.
people. Yeah. You don't have to cater to their students. You could cater to their staff. Hope that helps you guys. But these are all ways that we can try to get our units rented to the type of people that we want it to be rented to rather than the people that are reading Craigslist. Okay? If you want to go straight to the source, I do it a lot at hospitals for doctors, for nurses, for their staff. Hospitals still have a whole staff of pharmacists, technicians, housekeeping. Want me to keep going? Or are you guys paying attention? X-ray technicians. This is their whole staff. Phlebotomists, lab people. I mean, they're not just doctors and nurses. Okay, so you can advertise at the hospital for their staff members. And if you're in the Torrance area, you can go from hospital to hospital to hospital and get all kinds of that kind of stuff for their staff. The key there, you guys, is how Hi, I'd like to speak to human resources, please. Why do you always want to go into human resources? Because it's human resources that's going to provide that information to their faculty, their staff members, okay? And you could even call it factory discount, $50 off per month. Facility, yeah, whatever. Hit these factories up, hit these places up that have people that work at them. Work, meaning they get a paycheck. There's a concept. If we have a question during your AGLA hours, will we be able to speak to you if we aren't a member? No. If you're a member, you have to be a member to call AGLA and get their advice line. Okay? Melanie, I see you. I'm coming back. I offered many tenants a bonus for referring a chosen tenant. Yep. Many put it on their Facebook pages, etc., but they wanted that bonus. We found her on our own, but we put it on Zillow. We even upgrade for $40 for premier placement. So a lot of times you can advertise to your current tenants, hey, do you know anybody that needs to move or wants to live in that area? Because they have friends, they have family, they know. And you can offer them a rent credit, $200 off rent credit if you refer a new tenant. Okay, Melanie, let's hit you. LARSO, 4-unit, driveway, gate has broken and replacement is too expensive for the owner at this time. Can we keep it as a manual gate without any penalties, rent reduction, or other? The rent reduction for removing a gate, automatic gate, look at Larso has a list. We can look at it on their website of how much you need to credit them if you're taking away an amenity. So this may be a $5 rent reduction. No joke. Okay, we need to look it up, Melanie, before we make any decisions, because can I say this out loud? I'm going to say it out loud, and then you guys can laugh at me, okay? You ready? The amount of money that Larso requires a landlord to credit a tenant for removing an amenity is a very small amount of money. It could be as simple as $4. Okay? In other words, before we make a decision, let's look up and see how much that rent credit is, because I got a feeling that rent credit is going to be the way you want to go. Okay?
Is that actually listed, the amount somewhere?
Yeah, they have amounts listed on rent reduction amounts listed within Larso of what a swimming pool is worth, what a storage shed is worth, what a laundry facility is worth. They have that on there. Okay. So let's look that up first, and then I'll help you make that decision, Melanie, once we know what that dollar amount is. Because let me put it this way. If it's $12, I would rather tell you to give them a $12 rent credit. You get where I'm coming from? Did you get better traction with your Zillow upgrade? It seems like buildings are the first to show up and mom and pops are farther down. Val says she did. That $40 kept me on top of the list before I upgraded my listings. Was sometimes left out when I searched for other rentals. So that $40 really helped her. Christina, I missed the beginning of the call. When is your start date with AGLA? I am physically starting there. I was going to do on Monday the 8th, and he just switched it to Tuesday the 9th. I will physically be in the office on Tuesday the 9th. And it looks like my work days are going to be Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So I'll have Tuesdays and Wednesdays off. I missed the beginning of the call. When did you start date? Will Widget's Way still be at the same time, same day? Yes, Widget's Way is staying. We'll find it for you, I promise. I'll even ask Arlene to help us, Melanie. She's really good with Larso.
What does she need?
Larso has a list of how
I
much
sent you that list, Patty.
I have it.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Did you email it to me or did you text it to me?
I don't remember.
I'll have to.
I'm working on it and trying to find it now, but I texted you the DCBA right to counsel.
Okay, thank you. So DCBA has a right to counsel, so that's coming to me.
Yeah.
I will
I'm
put it
working
up
on
on
the
the
other thing.
website. And then we'll find that list, Melanie, and I will look at it and we'll go and I'll forward it to you so you can see it too. Okay? Just so you guys know, when it comes to LARSO, I always lean on Arlene because the majority of her properties are there. So is Chris's. So it makes it really easy for us to answer those LARSO questions when we have people that deal with that on a day-to-day basis. I will get better at it, I promise, because I'm going to have to in the very near future. Wednesday with Widget will be the same. Regarding the veteran, he is kind of a pain in the arse. He doesn't care about it. I've been told that the vet must ask for assistance, not the landlord. You're correct. And he doesn't want to cooperate. Honey, we can lead him to water, but we can't make him drink it, okay? That's all we can do is we can help him. Julia, what times are you asking me for? When am I working at AGLA? It looks like it's going to be Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And I'm from 8:30 to 4:30, a full day. And you guys can always text me. I can call you on my break. I can call you back. I may be able to call you, but texting me is good.
Also, I saw on next door the other day that skip inspections are starting.
There you go.
In West LA, yeah.
They're starting their skip inspections. They're always wonderful, aren't they? Also we have the golf tournament in October. If anybody wants to come play golf with me, I don't golf either, but it's a lot of fun hanging out for the day, going to all the little events. It's to a good cause. The money goes to the pack. And you get to hang out with me all day. We get fed twice. I think there's lunch and then shotgun start is at 1. And I think the awards dinner and ceremony is from like 5 to 6. So it's a great day. Lots of fun. I'd love to see you at the golf tournament. If you can make it, it would be great. Use code Widget when you sign up. You'll save $50. I think I answered everybody's questions. If anybody else still has a question, yell at me. Otherwise, I'm going to get off of here.
Patty, can you hear me? Because my headphones are broken.
Can I share you? I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me? My headphones are broken, so sorry if it's like muffled. Question for you. Have you experienced San Bernardino, city of San Bernardino, that they seem to be, code enforcement seems to be more more difficult or more restrictive with landlords than with homeowners?
Ready. What do we? You have a total of $14. You are about $5 away
Who
from
is
your Lego.
the agent that you're trying to get to help you?
Oh, it's been various agents, but like I know they'll send me violation notices for like, let's say tenants parking on the lawn, which I know they shouldn't do that. I personally don't care, but obviously it looks bad, so that's fine. But then I see the people next door and it's not a rental. They own that home and they're parked on the grass all the time. And so I don't know, in my experience it just seems odd. And now they used to, another thing that city of San Bernardino, they would get on us about like mowing the lawn, which I told my tenants, make sure you do that. And then we got a recent violation notice, same thing, but it also added irrigation on there. And I'm like, okay. And I know she's been mowing the lawn, so it wasn't that. She even sent me pictures immediately. saying that she's been mowing every Sunday. And then I called the code enforcement agent and she's like, oh no, we want you to water it. And so now I just feel like, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's nothing that,
Okay,
I
hold on,
guess-
deep breath, deep breath. If the code enforcement officer is Officer Nicole Sorensen? Sorensen? Nicole Sorensen?
and it's not her.
Who is it?
I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but I think it's like Pam something.
Okay, so what you're gonna do the next time you get a violation from them is you're gonna call them and you're gonna tell them that you work with Patti Widget
I guess I do have a.
Okay.
and that you want to comply with everything that you're asking. And thank you for letting you know that there was a problem, that you work with Patti Widget and you're gonna be very proactive with addressing their concerns.
Okay. Darn it. Because I already called them, but I didn't mention
It's
that.
okay. The reason that, and people are like, wait, what is Patty doing here? Honey, I've met a lot of the people that I manage property from teaching classes at code enforcement. So I know a
Oh,
lot.
that's cool. I would
know a
love
lot
to.
of these officers, okay? They don't allow us to teach these programs anymore. On January 1st of 2024, they deemed crime-free housing as being discriminatory.
Oh, what a bummer. I would have loved to have attended one of those because I do want to make friends with code enforcement because they can make my life very
So
difficult.
That's
But
why I'm telling you the next time you call them to talk to them, tell them, thank you for letting me know there was a problem at the property. I want to be very proactive with my investment. I work with Patti Widget. So, and they'll know immediately who you're talking about because I teach classes with them, with law enforcement in their facility.
so the when I did speak to her, I said, what was it for? Because I know my tenant is maintaining the lawn, so it couldn't have been that. She immediately sent me photos. The lawn looks good, and as long as we cut it, it's like everything's been fine. And she said, well, we want you to water it a little. And I'm like, well, what do you mean water it a little? And she's just like, well, the grass is very dead. And I said, oh, you guys have never. It's never been an issue before. And I feel like in California, brown is the new green. We're trying to conserve water. And she said, yeah, but I want it watered a little bit. And I said, okay, well then at this point, I guess I'm just going to have to.
She either lives near the property or has somebody else that lives near the property that is trying to put their thumb on you. I'm giving you the tool to put your thumb back.
Gotcha. Well, then I said, okay, well then would it just be best I replace it with rock? And she said, yeah, that would be best. And because I know, it's kind of like
I'm gonna tell you right now, find out if they have a program within the city to buy your grass from you to replace it with rock.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times they'll give you a rebate of like $6,000 they'll give you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never heard.
Check with city, check with code enforcement, check with the water department.
Okay. Water department and with the city. Okay, I'll do that because I don't.
For everybody that has a multifamily property, if you get anything saying the city's offering free sub-metering programs right now or free this programs right now, jump on those programs, okay? Because what are they doing? They're setting you up a sub-metering system so you can charge individual tenants for utilities and you didn't pay for it.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll definitely look into
They start offering sub-metering programs through your utility bill and they're going to do it free or low cost. You guys need to grab a hold of those. That's your utility program telling you there's a program out here to help you with expenses. You need to grab a hold of those and run with them.
Got it.
If you have
Okay.
questions about what it is, call me and ask me. I'll talk to you about it all day long about why I would do it or why I wouldn't do it.
Patty,
Yes.
I found the form from LAHD. I emailed it to you, okay, for reduction in
Okay.
services.
Melanie, are you still on here? And does it say anything about a security gate?
I didn't look at it carefully. I just sent it to you.
All
but-
right, thank you, Melanie.
Sure.
I'll email it to you shortly. I'll review it first and then I'll text it over to Melanie. Thank you, Arlene.
You're welcome. And then, also, we got approved for the EBB for the earthquake retrofit.
Uh-huh.
So, people who are in certain zip codes, should look into that because they just started on August 20th for it used to just be single family owner occupied. Now it's multifamily owner occupied, but as of the 20th of this month, it's now multifamily non-owner occupied that they're doing it.
And they're
it's-
doing the
it's up-
retrofitting less expensively.
They're giving you grants up to if you don't qualify for low income, it's up to $3,000.
So now there's programs to help us with the mandatory retrofitting that we have to do.
Correct.
Okay, you guys keep paying attention because you're going to find it on your utility bills. You'll find a letter from the city. Grab a hold of those. If you don't know why you would need to do that, or if it doesn't make sense to you, call me. I'll help you understand what you're going to be forced to do in the future. And now there's a way to pay for it so it's not coming out of your pocket. And that's what we all need to grab a hold of. Everybody else grabs those freebies. We need to get them too, okay? Anybody else have anything they want? What is the golf discount code? It is Widget. The golf discount code is Widget. It'll save you $50 on a round of golf. And it's a lot of fun. It really is. You come out, you'll have lunch. We'll do a shotgun start where everybody starts on a different hole. I am playing golf this year, they tell me. So we go around to all the holes, and at the holes, they have different companies set up. And they have different items they're raffling away, giving away, what have you. You go around to all the little areas. They have drink carts coming through. Some people have alcohol shots set up. I mean, you never know what you could get a golf towel. You could you could win an ice chest. You just never know. You just go around. It's kind of like a trade show. A whole lot of fun. And then there's an award ceremony. They're even doing $10,000 to the hole-in-one if you get a hole-in-one. And I think they have awards for closest to the pin and longest drive. Man, I can only make that thing go 100 yards. I ain't nowhere close to the longest drive, but I try every year. Last year, I hit the ground 3 times and then picked up my ball and walked away.
Patty,
I couldn't hit the ball on that one. I
if we sign
tried.
up, can we be on your team, or is it everybody
Yes.
kind of solo?
They're trying to get 8 people on my team.
Okay,
They
I'm gonna sign up with my mom, and we'll be on your team.
Yeah, and it's fun because I kind of harass that other golfers, just so you know. I'm that obnoxious. I want to take an air horn, you know, and go honk honk at other golfers and just have exploding golf balls and just be funny because that's who I am. But yes, we do hit the ball sometimes too. And it's a good time. It's a great time. So if you like to play golf, want to come horse around on the golf course with me, it's a good sign up and it's a fun day.
Cool.
Yeah, code Widget will save you $50, and they are trying to put me a team of 8 together. And last year, we goofed around a lot, but people got to pick my brain all day. Does that make sense? So you get to sit in the golf cart with me and kind of go, hey, Patty, what do you think about this? And what are your thoughts about that? So sometimes it is, the very first year I did it, the lady that signed up to play golf with me said, I'll do this every year going forward. I got the best information because if it's just you and me, I can tell you all kinds of things, you know? Just saying. Don't feel like I'm being recorded and it won't be used against me later. You might get a lot more information. So just something to think about. All right, you guys, I need to go get some lunch in my belly. I'm starving Marvin. Yes, Arlene is a godsend to us. So is Chris. She is extremely helpful as well. He gives us the insight from the legal part of things, so that's also wonderful. If you guys need anything, feel free to give me a call. I am here for the rest of the week. I am headed to the Bishop area this weekend, though. I am trying to sell my niece's house for her. So if you know somebody that's looking for a second home in the Bishop area, let me know. I'd be more than happy to get you that information. All right, you guys have a great week. And if you need me, hunt me down. I'm easy to find. Bye, everybody.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Patty, call me when you get a chance. Bye.
Will do. Bye, everybody.